Splice. Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Nanaya Yabua podcast. In this particular episode, I am going to share with you healthy habits, changing the changes we can do to improve our health and our lives. We are in a different space of time right now. 2024 is not easy across the board for anybody. And as a nurse, I know particularly for nurses, the 12-hour shift, the exhaustion, the demands of the work really gets to us. And in so doing, sometimes we just want to rest. Many of us are going through depression, anxiety on the job, a whole lot of stuff. We cannot satisfy everybody and neglect ourselves. So in this conversation, as a nurse, as a professional, as a single mother, this is my experience. This is some of the strategies I have learned over the years to cope. The first one is learning to plan my day, my week, my month. So I have learned the importance of planning. So before I go to bed, I have an idea what the day is going to be like the following day. For instance, in making this video, I had planned last night what I was going to do. So this is part of it, and amongst other stuff that I need to complete in the day and then go to work since I have a night shift. But making a list of the things that I need to do and trying as much as possible to stick with it helps me achieve the goals that I need. It also helps unclutter that did I forget something? Because sometimes we get so gango on the race that we're running to do one thing and then we forget what we had planned to do. So I planned the night before, put a list together on the things I need to do the next day, and then I get on it. And one example I just shared is doing this video, doing my laundry, you know, reading about 30 minutes of a book before the day starts. So these are all part of the plans. Even the people I need to check up on, send messages or text, I do so and try to keep on top of it. Yes, there will be distractions, but the distractions do not deter me from achieving the things I set out to do in the day. Journaling. Journaling for me, the day, either at night or in the morning, depending on my mood. The journaling helps me unpack. And in unpacking, I'm able also to track whether I'm on track with the things I set out to do, whether the goals and the plans I had put in place, whether I'm on track or not. Journaling also helps me to become really introspective because I really, as a human being, as part of the human race, I really need to check myself, put my checks and balances in place. What am I doing right? What am I not doing right? How do I want to grow? What are some of the things I need to grow? What did I say to somebody that wasn't right? What did somebody say to me and how did I receive it? And what can I do better the next time? So for me, journaling helps me unpack, helps me de-stress, helps give me a mental clarity, helps me plan as well. Because I can always go back to a date and time in my journal and see how far I have come or not. What are the challenges that were in the place? The other thing about journaling for me is that because there's so much going on in the world, when I'm able to journal, it means I put on paper the things that have happened in the past that left to these brains alone. There's so much information coming in. I may not be able to recall the full picture, or it will be in bits and pieces. So that is what journaling does for me. More so when I learn something new, I like to put it in the journal because when I do bits of pieces, papers here and there, I forget where I wrote it or I lose it. So the journal allows me a one place to do so. Step away from the screen. The third thing I try, and it's hard because the phone, this gadget, this is very addictive. Very, very addictive. Psychologists have studied it. They know it's all out there that it is very addictive. So I try and step away from the phone. So sometimes a person will say, I was trying to reach you, I couldn't get to you. It was my break from the phone. I normally keep it in silent. If I miss a call, I will get it later. The telephone is a distract us many times from things we need to do. So me personally, I give myself some time away from the phone to read. I don't read from my phone. I'm a tactile person. I love books. So I don't read on the phone. I read physical books. I don't journal in an app or anything. I journal in a book. I'm tactile. So however a person needs to do it to for it to favor them, that is okay. But I have made it a point to try, and I work diligently because it's not easy to step away from the phone occasionally. And psychologists have identified the reason why the phone is addictive because as soon as we hear a ding, mm, it gives us a dopamine hit and we want to feed that. So sometimes whatever that is dinging is not necessary, but because we so are in tune to picking it up and watching, picking it up and watching, it distracts us and detracts us from the things we really need to do. So I've made a conscious decision to step away from the screen as much as possible. I'd rather lie in bed and reflect. And in a reflection, if I close my eyes and sleep, that is fine. The other thing is walking or running. I'm not a runner, but I'm a walker. Walking or running also helps us focus on our lives or have a blank mental space. Or you can also work as as meditation, unpack, unload. As much as you're doing that, if you have a trail around where you live or you walk on the road, and if you need to listen to even some, something motivating, invigorating, and inspiring, that is way better than sitting. The active walk is also for fitness, keeping your body fit. In keeping your body fit, you also keep your mind fit. It also helps you spiritually, I believe. So when you do that, it's great for your overall health. It's one of the things that often at night, when you come from a long, tiring shift, all you want to do is take a shower and crash. I understand that. To take a walk, my goodness, is like shoving me. So I always am in conversation with myself. I call it the David Goggins in my head because it needs to motivate me, it needs to drive me. It's not easy. Most of the time, I fall short. Then I guilt trip myself into walking. And after the walk, I feel great. If you're alone, it's difficult. If you get a walking buddy, please do so. It is great. Reach out to whoever that is out there that can be your walking buddy and go out for a walk. If you can't walk during your days of work and you can walk when you are off, weather permitting, incorporate that into your lifestyle. The stresses of work is too much. The stresses of life is too much. But we cannot always dwell on those stresses. We have to find ways to mitigate the stresses. And walking is one. The other thing that I have also found, and this is personal, even before it got to me looking for information on that, which is intermittent fasting. Yes, you cannot believe it. I do intermittent fasting, sometimes 14 hours, sometimes 16 hours, sometimes 18 hours. Unfortunately, when I'm doing it and I'm working and we get busy, it gets to be a 20-hour intermittent fasting. What I've discovered that it does for me personally is that it makes me feel lighter on my feet. So the walking and the intermittent fasting helps me feel lighter. But also, I realized that the knee pain and the back pain, they, um, because I used to complain a lot, the complaints go down. It took me a while to figure out that, oh, I haven't, complained about knee pain and back pain. When I do intermittent fasting and I add the long walks to it, it helps me a lot. So, irrespective of the fact that I'm not really losing a lot of weight, maybe about 1 pound every 2 weeks, I'm not so crazy about it, but I'm crazy about being light, feeling fit, being able to go for a 4 hour walk back and forth and not extremely tired, but still have energy. So that for me personally is what gives me joy that I'm able to do that. Now, if the weight loss comes with it, hallelujah, I'm happy. But for the time being, I am content with being able to walk 4 hours without complaining of back pain, knee pain, or any form of pain. Now, before I was able to do that 4 hours this year, 30 minutes gave me excruciating pain. So I slowly started with a 30 minutes, then a 45 minutes, then an hour. And then I went on longer without realizing. That is when I went on the 2 hour walk and I decided that consciously to push myself a bit more. And so my longest has been 4 hours, about a 20 something, 20,000, yeah, 20 something thousand steps. I'll look for it and put it there. But it felt great to have that achievement. Will I push it for 5 hours? Yes, I can. And I will. So I've talked about you writing out your daily plan. I've spoken about intermittent fasting. I've spoken about walking. I've also spoken about stepping away from the screen occasionally and also journaling. Those are the 5 things that I do personally to help with my mental health, my balancing, being introspective with myself, and not being so critical and judgmental about me, but trying to find the balance of living authentically as a human being in these trying times. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all.